Lynda.com is becoming LinkedIn Learning, but not until March. LinkedIn is a sort of a networking website. You may or may not have a profile on it. And they have purchased Lynda.com, and they're going to be offering the site, and they've renamed it LinkedIn Learning through their LinkedIn site. But it will not affect the library offerings. So what is LinkedIn? Let me just first show you a little difference, but if you did want to purchase LinkedIn as an individual, it's a fairly pricey website, as far as it either $29.99 if you pay monthly or $239.99 if you pay annually. Whereas the library edition is free with a valid Peterborough Town Library card. So it's an amazing opportunity. That said, it is also a huge fire hose of information that is going to come at you. So, but first, let's access it. You always have to, if you need to get to lynda.com, you always have to go through the library account. So you go to the peterborotownlibrary.org, click on Services, eLibrary, scroll down to lynda.com, and enter your full library card and your library card account password. So once you're there, if you have not set up an account before, you get this window. It's going to ask you if you need to set up an account or if you've had one before. You might have had a private account or an account from a different library, and you want to move it over to this so that all of the courses that you've studied, all the certificates, will move into this one central account. So this will be the window that you will see initially. If you haven't set up an account before, you'll get this window, which allows you to set up a profile. It's very straightforward, not a whole lot to it. And now you're ready to dig in. So what to learn? Lynda.com has over 9,000 courses. And as of this morning, it had 274,434 videos. So there's a lot there. And it's, as I mentioned before, it's a sort of a fire hose of information. And it covers not only business and software and technical aspects, but there are also courses in writing, in playing the guitar, all sorts of different kinds of things. So they've given you some possibilities on how to sort through that information. And I'll show this to you on the website in just a moment. You can create goals. You can explore learning paths. You can explore new or popular courses by subject, and you can explore their library. So let me show you what that looks like. So the first thing that you can do is so I'm signed into my account, and if I wanted to set up my goals, it's basically what you're doing is giving them an algorithm to recommend courses to you. So you can either type in the skills that you'd like to learn, or you can use their list and just add them. And once you've added them, they will start recommending courses to you. So that's one way of getting through, trying to figure out what of the 9,000 courses you want to look at. Another option is looking at the popular learning paths. These are curated collections of courses and videos that are focused, many of them are focused on careers, but as I mentioned before, there's a course on learning to play the guitar, and there are courses on writing, and there are courses on photography and improving your photographic skills. So there's a lot there. You can also look at the different courses that might be available, the new courses. and you can choose new, and then you can look at all of them, or you can divide them by different topic: business, design, developer, IT, marketing, etc. You can look at the most popular courses, the courses that most people are watching. Um, Popular at your organization doesn't work with the library because it's actually for business organization licenses for lynda.com. But you can look at what's most popular. Um, and then finally, you can also look at the library. And again, on the left-hand side, you'll see the list of different topics, and then below them subtopics. For example, if I wanted to look at business, I could then look at a subtopic on online marketing, or I could choose a software that is associated with business, like FileMaker or Excel or Outlook. Or there are various learning paths: become a craft business owner. And that would be a curated, again, that curated list. Those are all possibilities of trying to find the right courses. But as I said, there are 9,000 courses. So it can be sort of overwhelming. So sometimes the best thing to do is to use the search bar. So let's say I'm interested in learning about writing. I want to improve my writing skills. So I just type in writing. And now I have new releases, I have learning paths, I have documentaries. I also have 40 courses and 1,123 video tutorials. That's still an awful lot to look at. So what I can do is further filter it by software or by authors or by skill level. For example, I can choose beginner courses or intermediate courses. And I can also even choose courses with closed captioning. And I'm going to hold off for a second. So let's say I've narrowed down my searches and I still can't decide. So here's an option. I may look at writing a resume. I can look at the preview for this. And once I click on the preview, this gives me some information. It tells me about the author, the skill level, how many people have viewed it, how long it is, and here's some very good information: when it was released and when it was updated. This may be specifically useful for tech classes because you don't necessarily want to learn uh, Word 2013. You might want to actually learn 2016 or something even later. It also shows you how popular it is. So once you look at this, this gives you some more information. So now I'm still not sure what I want to study. So again, I've got it sorted by release date, newest to first. I can also do it by course title. So that's another way of looking at this information. So I'm not sure what I want to study. Let's see, click out of that. Okay. But I think I'm interested in this, so I can do a couple of things. Whoops. I can add it to a playlist. Now, I have the option of adding it to, they give you one playlist and you can just throw a lot of courses in, or you can add it to a new playlist. So let's say I'm going to start collecting a playlist about writing courses that look interesting. Like I've heard very good things about the writing in plain language. I'm also interested in writing a resume. So let me just create a new playlist. Writing courses. And I can write a description if I want. and I will create that playlist, and I've added it to that playlist. Now, when I go back to my own personal website, you can see I have my writing courses. I have my own, the just generic playlist. And I also have the ones that I've started watching. See, I'm really interested in writing, so I'm going to write a novel, and I'm planning on selling it to a major publisher. There is another way of sort of tracking different kinds of classes that you might be interested in. Let's just take a look at the Excel training. I can open this up, and if I'm interested, but I'm not ready to do this, I can bookmark it by just clicking right there. I can also, once I'm in a course, bookmark specific areas that I'm interested in. And then when I go back here, here will be my collection of bookmarks. So I can go back to that video if that's a particularly useful video for me, or I want to share it with someone. So that is sort of a lot of different ways of trying to find the right information. There's just so much there. In French, there's a phrase for it called l'angoisse de choix, the embarrassment of choice. There is just so much there. And sometimes it's hard to find the courses that you're really looking for. There is, I read somewhere there is a great course in banishing your inner critic. I'm not sure where in the library I would find something like that. So it's very helpful as you're sort of exploring lynda.com and you're looking at all the possibilities, that you have the option of either using bookmarks or creating playlists so that you can come back to things that might be of interest to you. Let me go back to this. So I have decided that I'm going to, this is a course that I'm really interested in looking at. So I just open it up, and I'm going to turn this off because we don't actually need to. This is what the course will look like. You have a couple options here. If you haven't added it to a playlist, you can click and add it to the playlist. You can change the layout. Right now, they have the layout in 2 columns. But if I'm just interested in looking at the video and I don't care about the list of contents or using the notebook, I can just create a single screen. I can also, but if I am interested in the notebook, let me just show you this. Here's how you can take notes while you're watching. That's helpful for many people. I personally like to focus on the video, and I might jot down handwritten notes, but for if you want to keep your notes associated with the class, you can write them here, and here's how you can get started. And it will be, when you go back, you will have those notes. You also have an overview of the class and a transcript. You can't currently view things offline through the library edition. That may be possible later when we've moved to LinkedIn Learning in March. But for now, you do have to be connected to the internet and go through the library website. And here are a series of exercise files that you can download. They will often, the author will give you exercises, and here's the information that you'll need to run through those exercises. I'm just trying to think. So that's basically, let me go back to the slides. I sort of ran, rather than coming back and forth through the slides, I just went right into the whole process. So you can, as I said before, create goals, explore learning paths, explore new and popular courses by subject, and explore the library. And if you aren't finding what you want, I recommend using the search bar. Um, for example, the the writing course is in business. I'm not sure that I would have necessarily looked for it there. I might have looked for it in education, but it's a little hard. And sometimes using the search bar and then filtering those searches down will be helpful. Um, Again, if I put in writing, I get 34,000 hits, and I can sort by date of release or best match. I can further filter the list. And as I've showed you, you can watch the preview. You can check how popular it is. And if you're still not sure, you can add it to a playlist, existing or new for later, or bookmark selection sections. And we went through the various layout of the course and how to get started. Um, Once you do find something that you're really interested in, there are a couple of tips for making it successful. Again, this is dealing with a fire hose of a lot of information and having to be self-directed. I encourage you to schedule time, just a weekly time, a half hour to start working on whatever course. When you do go into a course, take what you need. You don't the Clean Plate Club is not helpful here. You don't have to do the whole course. You can just watch the various videos that you're interested in, create unique playlists that are useful to you. If you see a connection between banishing your inner critic and selling your novel to a major publisher, put those in a playlist so you have them all in one spot. Lots of people recommend the 3-scan rule. Watch the video first for general content, watch it again for detail, and then watch it a third time considering how you might apply it practically to your own situation. And then also there's the opportunity to collect completion certificates. So when you finish a learning path or you finish a course, you'll be able to either upload a completion certificate if you have a LinkedIn profile, or just have a PDF of it that you can keep on your computer and print out and provide to an employer, or add to your resume. And those can be very, very helpful. It also gives you a sense of what you have accomplished and the skills that you might have. So that is a very, very quick run through. Oh, one last thing. For those who like to use keyboard, there are a whole lot of keyboard shortcuts, and they're very easy to find. You just go to the ellipses up here, go to keyboard shortcuts, and then you'll have this pop-up screen, and you can um, just use the keyboards if that is the easiest thing for you. And that's it. So a very, very quick overview of lynda.com. And I'm does anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything that they particularly want to know more about?
Mary, are the classes, courses reviewed? I mean, one way is like looking at how popular it is, but it's
Mhm.
not reviewed like by other previous attendees.
No, you don't have the review. You don't have a review system. You just see how many people have have viewed the course, and you will get to know. There are some authors who do a lot of different courses, and you'll get to know their names. There's a lot of good content. One of the um, criticisms that I've seen recently is that some of it is feeling a little more corporate, as as soon as it got bought by LinkedIn Learning. But still, there's a lot of good information, useful uh, for hard skills and soft skills. It's just hard to find those. Um, the organization of it is not necessarily as intuitive as you might think.
So is it an option to look up a famous author, for instance, and see if he or she is teaching anything?
Let's try. Give me an author.
William Du Bois,
Okay.
but he's probably not.
Probably not. Oops. Ah, here we go.
Oh,
There you go. So 2 results for him. Creating a short film. And we can, again, you can preview it. Turn off the sound. And you can see that it's an hour and 49 minutes long, and just over 69,000 people have viewed it, and it's considered an intermediate. But it's actually, the author is Chad Perkins. So I'm
I
not
know.
sure.
So do I need to put William E. Du Bois down?
Well, I think it's probably that the author of this course has referred to him
Okay.
in the subject matter. Let's just see. No.
Okay.
So I think the material here is really useful, and it's especially if you're looking for hard skills, tech skills. For example, we actually are considering using lynda.com for Mac classes, because, for example, if I go into Mac OS, there are 362 results. So we have an opportunity to, we're actually considering having courses in for Mac programs through Lynda, because we don't actually have the hardware to do Mac classes currently. We hope to get a computer sometime in 2021, but we're not sure exactly. But you could look at, there are 138 Mac courses for beginners and 224 for intermediates. So,
And
sorry,
one
go
of
ahead.
the one of the exciting things about doing classes this way is it would potentially be kind of like a follow along. So for those of you who like the shorter, like 45-minute, 1 hour classes, we could do something where basically you have a link to the class on Lynda, so you can go as far as you want in the class and then come in on the day of the class and ask questions specifically that the class on Lynda didn't address, or just kind of follow along and ask questions as you go. So it's kind of like getting multiple opinions and a different way of looking at how these things may be learnable or teachable.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
one other thing is, before we end, I know we're still talking about questions and going over stuff, but can we go over how to log into Lynda again from the library for everyone who
Sure.
came in
Yeah,
a bit late?
sure. And let me just, hold on a second. I need to, okay. So I'm going to give you, so you just go to the Peterborough, the thing with the lynda.com, you have to go through the town website. There are apps for LinkedIn Learning and for lynda.com, but those are for the individual accounts, not for the library account. This is how you get the free account. So you go to Services, eLibrary, scroll all the way down, and just log in here. And then it will ask for your library card, and your library card, they say PIN, but what they mean is password. And then you just click log in, and this will take you to your Lynda account. This is an account that I have actually been using for a variety of different, just to learn bits and pieces of different things. So again, here's what I started but haven't finished. I have some playlists that I've created. Um, it's a really robust resource. The complication is that there's so much, and it's sometimes hard to find some of the things that you might be interested in. But I would just recommend that you get in and you play and you take a look around. Don't get too overwhelmed, and start to just create either um, bookmark courses that are interesting or create playlists so that you can come back to it. So, any other questions?
I have a statement.
Sure, please.
I know Mary went over this whenever she clicked on one of the classes, but if you are at all worried, so if you look at the iCloud Essential Training and it says 1 hour and 29 minutes, and you may think, oh, well, I don't have an hour and 29 minutes
Ah,
to kind of deal with it. It's not, you don't sit down and watch a video for an hour and
right.
29 minutes. You watch, as Mary clicked on it, you watch 1 minute and 3 seconds on how to store and sync data online with iCloud. And then if you kind of like the presenter, then you can go on to what is iCloud, which is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And then, so all of these are bite-sized chunks that you are able to start and stop at any point, which kind
Ex-
of makes it more manageable. And also, if you kind of forget, what was in the Create iCloud account, you can always click back on it, and that's
mhm.
only 4.5 minutes. So you can kind of review things that you have already learned and just get a refresher really quickly.
Exactly. And if you go back to your home page, it will tell you it will, so let's say I open this up and it will show me what I have watched. Whoop, and what I haven't watched and what is still waiting for me to see. So Tim's absolutely right, and that's why it's helpful, because there is so much material, and it's helpful to review it multiple times, just to choose a set amount of time a week and go back and keep working through a course. And also don't feel like you have to, if the video isn't applicable to what you're interested in, you can skip it and nobody's going to tell on you. Um, any other questions or thoughts? Anybody?
Yeah, so I know I got my library card like 2 years ago.
Hmm.
What's my password?
Well, that's true. Okay, so if you've gone to Peterborough Town Library, if you have never signed in to your account, which is right up here, then it's really, really simple. Your password is change me, all uppercase, no spaces. If you aren't sure of what your password is, then call the library and we will reset it back to change me, and then you can reset it in your account. And if you have trouble, if you know your password and you have your library card number and you're still having trouble, then it may be that your account has expired and we just need to update it. And again, feel free to call the library and we can get that set up for you. So, any other questions? Well, I went through this fairly quickly, but please do email me with any questions. I will send this set of slides as well as this recording out. And I would be very interested in hearing what people think of Lynda. Um, and if you're interested, if you are a Mac user and interested in joining us in our sort of Mac exploration, please let me know, because I think in the new year, that's what we're going to do, at least until we get our own laptop. So everyone, thank you very much for coming, and
I have
have
something
fun.
to
Sure, please.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I have been doing Lynda for the past week because I'm anticipating getting for Christmas a new Apple Mac.
Okay.
And Lynda, I think, is beyond awesome in information, easy to use. Something I don't think you hit on was if you go under your name and you get the history, the bookmarks, the notes. I use the bookmarks to mark, one of those 3-minute or 4-minute little sections that I want to go back to and make a little
Right.
note. And I'm hoping to maybe ask Tim at some point if I had any questions on what was actually there. Sometimes I've done for the Mac, I've done the literacy for Mac, which was like a 2.5-hour program. It took me the entire day, but I love that you can do the 3 or 4-minute little bites of it at a time.
Right.
And then merging from Windows to Mac was the next course that I'm doing right now. I'm almost done. And then when you go through those courses, you also learn, it's like, hey, I need to know a little bit more about iCloud and iCloud emails and cloud. Okay, the iCloud whole thing, which I have not taken, so I have beyond questions with that. But also when you go under your own, after you log in, you go under your own name, you have your history, you've got your certificates, you've got
it's all
sorts
listed.
of resources. You can like touch back to any point you were interested in before.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I have nothing but raves about lynda.com, and I hope the LinkedIn change doesn't affect it because it is amazing how
good.
much
I'm
you
glad.
can learn. That I saw the guitar thing, and that's down on my list. That's probably a January thing. I saw the drawing thing, and I'm interested in that too. But right now, I'm out of a computer. I'm only working with my tablet, so I really have to figure out how to use a Mac because I don't know. My kids know, and I hate it when they tell me stuff.
I love it. So you didn't have trouble finding the courses that you wanted, because that is the general complaint that I've heard from various people.
The biggest thing that I think people should do, if you look and you want something recent, especially if it's tech oriented, that put in a date that you want to make sure you get the most recent. And I'm not sure how to do that. When I was looking at the Mac, I had to figure out what was the newest Mac operating system. I think it's Big Sur or something like that.
Right, Big Sur.
But I didn't know how to look for it by date. I had to go figure out what was the newest, latest thing from an Apple site. And then I typed in Big Sur and then I found it. So I didn't know how to find the most recent or most applicable Mac information because I'm getting a brand new thing. I wanted brand new information. And I didn't know how to specifically search for, what's just out there. And what I found was like updated on December 5th. So I got there through the back door, but I don't know how to search Lynda for the most recent.
Okay, so for example, I put Mac OS in, and right now it's sorted by best match. But if I click on release date, then it will give me the most recent will be close to the top. So Big Sur being the most recent. Tim, do you have any other thoughts about how to get the most recent? I know that with Word, for example, you could put in the date that it was released, 2013 or 2016.
Yeah, so I would just kind of find your search term that you want and search for it. And then, if you get over like 10 results, then just sort by new. But one of the other things is a course on, Big Sur that was released yesterday will theoretically have just as new information as a course on Big Sur that was released 2 or 3 months ago, is one thing. So it's also important, in my opinion, to find someone with a teaching style that meshes with you. So like Nick Brazzi has 2 of the newest courses on Big Sur, but maybe you find their voice annoying or they skip over parts that you think are important or something like that, then you may want to kind of go further down the list of what is the newest and find someone else. However, it seems like Nick Brazzi's really, running the gambit on Mac training.
Yes, he seems to have dominated the field. So Does anybody else have any questions? Well, I hope you enjoy it. The rumor is that it will be a fairly seamless transition, but you know, I've heard that before. But that's not until March, so you've got a couple of months. And meanwhile, you can brush up on your skills, can learn soft skills, hard skills, all sorts of things. There's a lot here to take advantage of. So thank you all for joining us.